If you've been on TikTok for a while, you must have heard about a ton of Africans telling you that Europeans stole Africa's resources. Now, there's a lot to say about that. First and foremost, most of these resources are still in Africa, and they're not being stolen by Europeans. They're actually being sold to Europeans by the African state leadership. Your own elites are robbing you. It's not us doing it, not anymore. The real issue, they're actually being sold to Europeans by the African state leadership. Your own elites are robbing you. It's not us doing it, not anymore. The real issue, of course, is why aren't Africans using their own resources to do things? Why does Mr. Beast have to go to Kenya to build water wells? Why didn't the Kenyan government do it themselves? I suppose the Kenyan government could have done it themselves. They just chose not to do it. Nigeria is now a country of almost 220 million people, the largest country in Africa. But they only produce about 10% of the electricity that a small country like Hungary. Hungary only has 10 million people, but they produce 10 times as much electricity as Nigeria does. I mean, I know you want to have your Wakanda, right? But do you expect white people to give it to you? No, you're supposed to build it yourself. Electricity as Nigeria does. I mean, I know you want to have your Wakanda, right? But do you expect white people to give it to you? No, you're supposed to build it yourself. Having said all this, it is of course obvious that we Europeans in the North need to prepare for a possible, potential African rise in terms of technology and therefore also in terms of military capacity. And that means we in Europe need to already start looking ahead and thinking ahead about how we are going to win the war against Africa, because technology and therefore also in terms of military capacity. And that means we in Europe need to already start looking ahead and thinking ahead about how we are going to win the war against Africa, because there will be a future war between Europe and Africa.
I mean, if that's what you're saying, they're running away from those wonderful opportunities. Why don't they take up the opportunity? In fact, why don't you take up the opportunity? Why would you come and make your fortune here in South Africa? You could be making a fortune in Zimbabwe. Why are you here?
Because I'm part of the problem in Zimbabwe. My attitude of thinking that I had to come and take up the opportunity that was offered to me here,
so why don't you go
instead
home?
of minding.
May I ask you that? Why
I am going home. But right now, I've also got family in South Africa. I've got South African children. And those South African children don't just allow me to just stand up and leave, but I do have projects that I'm taking part in Zimbabwe, because I've learned that those resources are the most important thing.
If you have such faith in your country, in Zimbabwe, I would say and I would think you would get up and you would take your family and you would go and fix up the future of Zimbabwe. If you're saying there's land, if you're saying there's minerals, if you're saying there's so much wealth and opportunities for you there, you're living a contradiction.
No, I'm not living a contradiction.
You certainly are by sitting there. You're
I
living
would
a
ask you that
contradiction. Because people are suffering in Zimbabwe.
So why are people not going to the Netherlands? Why are Germans not going back to Germany? Is it because their countries are bad? Is it because they're running away from problems in the UK or in the States? Why aren't Europeans going? What are you doing here?
I live here. This is my home.
Germans not going back to Germany? Is it because their countries are bad? Is it because they're running away from problems in the UK or in the States? Why aren't Europeans going? What are you doing here?
I live here. This is my home. I'm not running away from it.
Why are you living here instead of Europe? Why did your great-grandparents come here instead of Europe?
We're not talking about grandparents. We're talking about me.
Europeans going? What are you doing here?
I live here. This is my home. I'm not running away from it.
Why are you living here instead of Europe? Why did your great-grandparents come here instead of Europe?
We're not talking about grandparents. We're talking about me.
No,
we talk about
you've made it sound like Zimbabwe needs to go back to Zimbabwe to show that Zimbabwe is working. So why are Europeans not going back to Europe? Why are Asians not going back to Asia? Why are they staying in South Africa? The context of the conversation
is that you're saying that Zimbabwe is a beautiful country with great opportunities and people have run away from there to become waiters. The context is you are living here in South Africa when you could be going back and making that country work. That's the context.
You also forgot that I was asked to come here. Somebody thought my skills were important here.
I've been asked to go to other countries, but I believe in this country.
But why don't you believe in Europe?
No, I believe in South Africa.
Why don't you believe in Europe?
I believe in my country.
Why don't you believe in Europe?
Shalom, Yasharala, all praises and glory goes to our mighty power, Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushai, by Hashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone and salutations to the legmen feeding the sheep of Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushai, in sincerity and truth with this great gospel. Coming out of our Bible, man, coming out of our Bible. And Esau, Edom, man, this is the devil that the Bible speak of, right? Esau, Edom, the man who don't know how to keep at home, right? right? Who's in everybody's country acting like it's his property. It's the world. Actually, right, the earth was given into his hands, so he has that spirit on him, that attitude. The motherfuckers in South Africa telling the Hamites to go back to their own country, right? You got a fucking pale-faced devil straight out of the Netherlands, European, straight out of the Caucasus Mountains, right? Telling the Hamites to go back to their different countries. And she's living in their countries. That's the kind of madness you got going on right now, man. You see, the end is near for Esau Edom, and Esau Edom knows it, right? At one time, Esau Edom would have forced your ass to go back to your country, right? He would have started a war, a coup. Now that these things are not working no more, it's like he can't take it. He can't take it. The devil's preparing for a fight against dark nations, man. They know it's coming. It is inevitable. It is guaranteed to happen, right? Because it was spoken of in the scriptures. I'm going to go to the book of Matthew 24, verse 3. It says, "And as he sat on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privily, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world?" And the end of the world, man, because that's what it's all about, the end of the world. What world? Is it talking about the destruction of Earth, right? Like Esau want to show you in the movies, comets coming from the heavens and destroying the globe, destroying the Earth. Or the volcanoes erupting and blowing the Earth from the inside out, right? This is madness. This is madness. The Earth abideth forever, right? The Earth was created for man to inhabit, right? It says, "And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? And Yahushua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am a Mashiach, and shall deceive many. And ye shall what? And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars," right? We are hearing of wars, right? Palestine versus Israel, Ukraine versus Russia, China versus that South Pacific Asian nations, right? You got all kind of hell breaking loose on the earth. You got the cartels killing Mexicans and Hispanics. You got niggas killing niggas, gang wars, right? It got so bad that they don't even report on the things that is happening amongst you Israelites, right? Because they don't give a fuck when you die. They don't care when you die, right? It says, "For nation, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars," right? We're just hearing about, hey man, he said, get ready, Europe. We're going to have to get ready to fight against the Africans, right? He said, you blacks think you're going to get a Wakanda? You think the white man going to build you a Wakanda? Right? These crackers is disrespectful. He said, we're not stealing from you anymore, right? Prideful as fuck. But the thing is, you got to pay for the past, right? You got to pay for what your so-called ancestors has done, which you are the reincarnated spirits of your wicked-ass fucking ancestors, right? It says, "For nation," I'm going to read it again, "and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginnings of sorrows." The beginning of sorrows. Yeah, the beginning of sorrows, because it's going to be a time where it's going to be the time for Jacob's trouble. Jacob's trouble, and that's what this so-called white man is preparing for, man. He's giving a shout out to his fellow brethren. They prepare for war against the dark nations, right? Prepare for a financial war and a physical war. It will get physical. It will get physical. It will be usage of swords, which is guns, right? That's why so many guns are being purchased under earth, being manufactured, right? They're turning their pruning hooks into spears, right? That's the spirit right now. This ain't no spirit of peace, love, and happiness. The spirit of death in the motherfucking air, because it's the end of Esau's world. It's the end of Esau's world. Read, it says, we're going to go to 2 Ezra 6, verse 7. It says, "Then answered I and said, What shall be the parting asunder of the times, or when shall be the end of the first, and the beginning of it that followeth? And he said unto me, From Abraham right, from Abraham unto Isaac, unto Salaki, and from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born, of him Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follow. If they just asked Yahushua, what will be the signs of thy coming and of the end of the world? And the Lord, here it says in 2nd Esdras, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, right? We're looking at the end of Esau's ruling class world, him being in power, him being over other nations, right? After this, he's going to be at the bottom forever. Well, for 1,000 years, until we eradicate him from off the face of the earth. That is the future of these Edomites. No more greatness, right? No more going around the world setting banks and collapsing kingdoms, setting up banks and making people slaves to his currency, to his ways, to his democracy, right, to his rulership. That's what's happened, man. He's in rulership and everything is upside down. The whole world is out of order, right? That's why everybody want to know what's going on. We know what's going on. It's the end of a age, the end of an era of wickedness, Esau's wickedness. This is the book of Job 20 and 18. It reads, that which he labored for he shall restore, and shall not swallow it down. According to his substance shall the restitution be, and he shall not rejoice therein. Right? This devil talking about, we're not stealing from you. Not anymore. What else he said? He said, it's your people selling it to us, right? These devils set up these puppets that really work for them, that went to their schools and that were trained by their alphabet thugs, all right? They set up these leaders, and then they talk about, it's your leaders doing it to you. It's your leaders. Yeah, because these leaders are your puppets, right? Are your puppets, man, because you were set up in this society to manipulate minds, to deceive people and take their resources. You are the devil that the Bible speak of. Job 20 and 18, that which he labored for shall he restore, and shall not swallow it down. According to his substance shall the restitution be, and he shall not rejoice therein, because he have what? Because he have oppressed and have forsaken the poor, because he have violently taken away an house which he builded not. Right? This man is in everybody's country telling people to go home. He's in America telling so-called black people to go home, when half of these so-called black people are Native Americans, are natives of America, right? He done turned himself into a $5 Native American. Now it's a lot of descendants of crackers talking about, we're Native Americans. Yeah, we're Native Americans. If you don't get the fuck from around here, right? That's why the Lord got to sift the house of Israel from amongst all nations, because this devil has spreaded itself amongst all nations and has infiltrated all nations, right? Because he have oppressed and have forsaken the poor, because he have violently taken away an house which he builded not. Surely he shall not feed, surely he shall not feel quietness in his belly. He shall not save of that which he desire. There shall none of his meat be left, therefore he shall no man look for his goods. Here's the point, in the fullness of his sufficiency he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. Right? That's when Jay gonna put their hands on this motherfucking devil. Right? This wicked is talking about the laborers. Right? In the fullness of his sufficiency he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. Right? You got these devils in everybody country ruling the show. Right? Them workers gonna kill you. You devils in them times, man. The Lord gonna put a spirit on Jake to flip on you motherfuckers. It's the book of Isaiah 14 and 21, and it reads, prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. Right? This is talking about the end of Edom, right? It says prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers, right? The devil talking about, we ain't doing it, not anymore. Yes, you still doing it, and yes, it was you who did it. And you are the children of your fathers. And shit, you gotta pay, right? It says prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. right? It's over for Edom.